All right. Hello, everybody. This is Tom Randall from GoldenCare. I see it's the 11 o'clock hour, so want to get started. I know your time is valuable. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to jump on this webinar. And this is part of a two-part webinar series that I'm doing today and tomorrow on the pivot presentation. And today's kind of a method of my madness, a little bit of the intro to the pivot concept for you. And then tomorrow we'll be going through the nuts and bolts of the pivot presentation itself. Before I jump in, I do want to do a little housekeeping. First of all, you don't have to take copious notes because you will be getting all the slides that we use today. And secondly, I want to make sure that if you're not already with GoldenCare, which I think probably most of you on this call may be already, but if you're not, the important step is up to you. Give us a call. You can see the 800 number up on the screen there, 800-842-7799, or our GoldenCare agent website. And when you get to that website, you're going to see not only recordings of different webinars and different training topics we have that we pride ourselves in being one of the top training agencies out there in the country. But you'll also see a lot of the different tools like our perfect portfolio of products that we have out there, our LTC CEO tool. We've got a referral program even that if you don't want to go out and get involved in selling long-term care at this level, we have agents who can do it for you and do some commission splits with you. So we have lots of different things, StratDecision, all the usual suspects, and I definitely urge you to check that out if you haven't. Even if you are already an existing agent, it might be something you missed. Okay. Again, there's my ugly mug up there. It's I've been with GoldenCare now in my 26th year. I just had my 25th anniversary. I've been in the industry for 32 years doing some training before that with my brother Mark, as a lot of you may already know. I don't want you to be staring at my face, so I'll put Mr. Clooney up there instead. But basically, in a nutshell, for those of you who know me, you know I'm passionate about long-term care. I'm passionate about the senior population, the aging of America. And I really love what I do because one of the things I can do is know that working with great agents like yourselves, we can go out and help more and more of those senior population. And of course, now the baby boomers and the younger generation as well plan ahead so that they can have some protection for themselves and their families. And hopefully you'll agree this pivot presentation that we talk about in the next couple of days is going to be something that'll help you when you're out in the trenches. That's our goal. So no better time to do it. Right now, we're finishing up a great little incentive program. It's the second half of the this quarter. We're doing almost a duplicate of what we did the first half of the quarter. But from May 16th to June 30th, every time you get an applicant that you put the name in the app, just submit it for Mutual of Omaha, Thrive, and NGL or the GTL product line. You're going to have your name thrown into a hat, and we do some drawings for you. And we did it on social media with a little wheel spinning around, and people like to watch that, and agents won some good prizes. You can win multiple times. The more times you write apps, the more times your name gets thrown in the hat. So it's a good opportunity for you to make some good extra money on top of your commissions. Okay, let's jump in. Again, I go through a lot of these slides today pretty fast, but I do want to let you know that why we came up with this pivot presentation and why we're going to use it, and hopefully you'll see that there is a method to our madness, as I said before. So in the nutshell, I've been around a long time, and you guys remember, some of you on this call probably remember the good old days of long-term care. Remember, you could send out lead cards, and you get send out a mailer, and you get 8% return on your lead cards, and you go out and you help people. And there were agencies that lived and died just going out selling only long-term care in those days, right? Because the underwriting, they didn't know what they were doing for sure yet, and they ended up helping too many people probably. But in a nutshell, it was an easy way to make a living because people were excited about long-term care, and you could sell policies to them and throw the net pretty wide. 2003, things started to change. Obviously, we started having more structure to it, a little bit more experience with the carriers, a little bit more legislation, and all of a sudden we realized that we can't help as many people as we could in the good old days, quote unquote. And now we're at today where we know the stats out there. When you get to the older people, more than half of them are getting declined, it seems like. And overall, when we go out and do live webinars, I've done like 100 plus live webinars for people, for consumers. And I knew looking out at the crowd that there was a good percentage of them that I wouldn't be able to help with traditional long-term care hybrid type products because we just know the underwriting's a little tougher these days. So basically what we want to do is try to show people that even though we see that there's tons of medications nowadays compared to what there were in the old days, remember now people have the whole shoe boxes full of meds. The good old pre-diabetics are out there, right? We all know that doctors don't like to say you're diabetic, so they say, well, I'm going to consider you pre-diabetic and start you on some lighter meds. And of course, the underwriters know that they're going to be diabetic for sure. So they end up declining. So those decline rates you can see on the screen are certainly there, and they're high as ever. And we know that there's that legacy block of business out there getting hit with rate increases, et cetera. So long-term care we know is not the easiest thing to sell out there, and that's why we have the referral program too, to help some people who just don't want to deal with it. But more importantly, we want to make sure, you can't throw out those leads and get the 8% return anymore. Now you get a lower return. So what we want to do is when you get in front of people, help as many people as we can. So we basically want to take that pie that you see in front of you where half the people are no-go, and we want to turn it in to look more like what you see in your screen there, where there's just a much smaller percentage of people that we just can't help. Okay. And what we've really thought about over time, and I've been doing this, like I said, a long time, and we've been talking to agents for a long time, it's really time for a paradigm shift, isn't it? I mean, we have the good old days we talked about where agencies like Genworth had just selling Genworth long-term care. That's all they did. And we saw that got them in trouble, and they ended up having to close up their career shops because of it, because you just can't survive selling just long-term care anymore. So we started moving over in the brokerage side, especially in our career shop, saying, make sure you set the table, realize and tell people that long-term care is great and you're going to try your best to get them through. And if they can't get that long-term care policy, guess what? We've got something that'll be able to help you out. And we come in on the back end. And you know what? That worked to some extent, but a lot of people kind of felt like, well, now I got a decline. You told me how great long-term care was. Now you end up coming up with another offer for me, and I feel like I'm getting the B team, right? So what we want to do now is try to find a way to turn the table, have that paradigm shift, and feed as many people as we can. And that's by going in, asking health questions first, telling people the reality is we don't buy these policies anymore with our checkbook as much as we do with our health, right? We want to make sure we're healthy enough. So if you don't mind, I'm going to ask some health questions first, and that's how we get in to having a whole portfolio of products that can help you based on the health, go in and make some great decisions and protect your clients. And really, when I say we can help almost anybody, I really mean it, because if you look at True Freedom is a great example. It's in all 50 states. It's really not a true insurance plan. It's basically a prepaid type plan. But the good news about that, there's no medical underwriting. Tell you what, just about anybody can get it. You can see a little box there. Do you not currently need or receive any assistance for activities of daily living? And if you can do that, you can submit the enrollment for this type of program. And tell you what, it's a pretty strong program we'll talk more about later on. That's the True Freedom. So just about anybody who can blow on a mirror can get that policy. And some people will like it because it's a strong policy, as you'll see later, even though they're healthier. But the key is I'm trying to show you on the health ways that we have something for everybody. And if we look at the GTL, short-term home health care plan, check that out. I mean, literally, there's three questions if you have the most robust plan they have, the option C plan. And with that one, literally, it's like, hey, are you currently in a nursing home or assisted living? It doesn't seem like it from me talking to you over the phone or looking at you across the table. And secondly, do you need any help right now with activities of daily living, or are you cognitively impaired right now? So obviously, we're throwing that net really wide now, right? And if you have that option C plan, you can see there's one more saying in the next 60 days, do you plan on needing some help? So you can see with that plan, you can help a ton of people that you're sitting in front of. Anybody who returns a card, you're going to have a product that's going to be able to help them, hopefully. Okay. So that is just a taste of what we have, but I do want to let you know that this obviously is not an exhaustive list, but no matter where people are on the health scale, we've got products that can help them here at GoldenCare. We call it, some of these are part of our perfect portfolio, we call it, so you don't have to go out and have 75 different products. We're trying to narrow it down so the healthier people can get your traditional long-term care. Of course, we've got our mutual VOMA plan. We're very proud of the fact that we're the number one product out there in the independent market, and we helped design that plan for mutual. But we've also got NGL Thrive and et cetera, and we've got the hybrid type plans. And then as people are a little less healthy, we've got other plans to back them up, like those great short-term care plans, that are out there. And we have our critical cash plan that we helped design with GTL for people who might want a little CI policy that has a lot of long-term care flavor to it. And then we've got that short-term home health care plan I just spoke about a second ago. And of course, the True Freedom plan. And again, don't kid yourself. The True Freedom plan and the GTL home care plan aren't way down at the bottom just because they're lesser products. What they are is just lesser underwriting for those products. So they still can offer some great benefits for people. Even those lighter underwritten products do have a lot of muscle for you and your clients. Okay. So basically what we want to do in the future is, and again, this pie chart, don't get freaked out by how big each section is. I just want to say we can make this pie chart so we can help a ton of people writing these different types of products out there. So your pie chart's obviously going to look different than what this one is on the screen, but hopefully you get the idea is that we want to be able to have different products for different folks. And some of you are sitting out there saying, well, boy, my state never allows anything. I want to let you know, a couple slides here, and again, you'll get these later. Those gold ones that say GTL home health care available, it's not just the GTL home care. In most of those states, there's other products as well. But what I wanted to show you, there's very few white states. And the white states are like California, Florida, the usual suspects, right? New York, where they're not allowing anything that even has the word care in it, right? They don't allow anything that has anything to do with anything resembling long-term care, it seems like. So if it's not long-term care, they're not going to allow it. So California, Florida, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, they don't have any of these products. So if you're in those states doing a lot of marketing, it's going to be a little tougher. But you can see in all the other states, there's at least one product and usually more than one. And that's what these slides here will show you, the state availability charts. We have lots of products in whatever state you might be in. And again, you'll get these slides. And of course, the True Freedom and One America are in all 50 states. And One America is besides New York, of course. Okay. So let's just take a second. Again, I go through these really fast because I don't want you to pull your hair out and get frustrated with me, but I do go through these fast because I know you're going to get these slides later on. And we have whole webinars designed around comparing different plans and talking in depth about the plan structure themselves. But I do want to let you know, there's power in these plans, not only those True Freedom and the GTL plan I talked about, but also these full short-term care plans. A lot of power in them, right? Aetna's Recovery Care, there's on your left, and you've got GTL's Recover Cash on your right. These are true short-term care plans. And you can see there's good solid benefits up to $300 per day with up to your benefits, and then a lifetime max of twice that amount. And you can see there's some different riders, et cetera. And Aetna's Recovery Care has a stronger home health care rider right now. GTL's Recovery Cash is a little more limited, $25.50 or $75 per visit. And this one does have the optional inflation rider. So if you look over there on the right-hand side, the GTL Recover Cash does have inflation. So a lot of agents write a lot of Aetna Recovery Care, and they write a lot of GTL Recover Cash for younger folks, et cetera. But again, different tastes for different folks and different availability in different states as well. This slide, I'm certainly not going to read each line to you, so you don't have to panic. But basically what I'm trying to show you is all these products have different types of underwriting that is involved in them. And once we get a little bit of a feel for those, you don't have to go to med school. Don't worry. It's pretty simple stuff at this level. But we'll show you in the pivot presentation tomorrow how we kind of lay out these different health deals and let you make transitions right within the presentation itself. So if you look at this GTL Recover Cash, you can see there's certain things much easier to get than long-term care, but you still have some of the major knockouts that you can see in there on the screen. And then this is also the GTL Recover Cash. And again, this is more for you to look at later on. And here's Aetna's Recovery Care, short-term care, right out of the application. And you can see there again, easier than what we have with long-term care. But again, there's going to be some knockouts for some of these conditions that are a little bit more imposing. Okay, so I put these in there just so you have one spot that you can glance at as an agent to know what it is. And we are also putting together some other tools for you that I'll tell you about later on as well. But basically, in a nutshell, that's just for you to see. Now, the GTLs are critical cash, a whole different animal out there. We helped create this product, and if you haven't seen our recorded training on it, I definitely recommend that you check it out. These slides will probably confuse you a little bit because I'm going to go through them so fast, but I'll tell you what, this is a CI policy, critical illness policy, that has a lot of long-term care flavor to it. And it's really strong for the fact that there's such a great crossover of claims that you have with long-term care. And you can see you can get a nice big bucket of money there and have a lump sum payout for home care, an additional payout for nursing home, and a lot of flexibility in this plan that I can't get into today. But the thing I do want to point out to you is that there's that crossover of claims with long-term care. Excuse me. And if you look at Alzheimer's, stroke, and cancer, that's about 70% of all the long-term care dollars paid out in claims that we have in America today. So this is what I'm talking about, crossover of claims. So you can see those are all covered within the critical cash plan that you see on the screen. And with that, cancer, heart attack, and stroke, those three conditions are 80% of all the new CI or critical illness claims out there. So you can see that crossover we're talking about, especially when you throw Alzheimer's in there as well, because a lot of CI policies won't cover Alzheimer's disease. So this plan is actually much, much stronger than a lot of agents give it credit for. This screenshot you see is actually an Excel calculator that I put together that shows you really a nice visual of how powerful the plan is. So we have that tool available for you as well. So if you haven't peeked at this before, make sure you do. And if you go to my pivot seminar, you're going to see that I use critical illness, this critical cash is one of the products in that plan. And again, this is more for later on, but basically critical cash goes where long-term care can't. There's no 2 of 6 ADLs with a 90-day exception. This is a diagnosis trigger. And remember, one of the cool things is chronic illness means that it pays whether you recover or even if you die. So with a plan like this, I can get a stroke. My brother-in-law just did this. Fortunately, he didn't have this product, but he just had a stroke. And it was like, oh my gosh, Bob had a stroke. No way. Well, it turned out it was a minor stroke, and he ended up being able to go out, and if he golfed, he could have been golfing, 2 months later, no problem at all. But the key is it was a true stroke, and if he had this critical cash plan, tell you what, that thing would have paid full benefits for him. Even though he'd go back out golfing right away, he would have got either that lump sum payment or the full monthly payments on that plan because of the fact that it pays based on diagnosis and it pays the full amount every time you hit the claim. So kind of a cool thing there that you can see that it has some advantages over what you might see with long-term care. But most important for our pivot conversation, that product does pay, or you can get it in place, where you'd have to go running if you're trying to just sell long-term care, traditional long-term care. Okay, there's lots of different things there, and you can see some examples taken right out of the underwriting books to show you some of those different conditions that are pretty traumatic that you have to run with long-term care, but you can get a policy in place with critical cash. So lots of ways to help a lot of people. Okay. And again, that GTL home healthcare plan I mentioned earlier, remember those 3 knockouts that we said? There's only 3 knockouts. That plan, tell you what, it's got a lot of power too. It's really light underwriting, but really powerful benefits. And again, this screen is just more for you later. I'm going to go through it so fast it'll confuse you. But that plan has 3 different options, a plan A, B, or C, and you can get up to $150 or $300 or $450 per day for those services you see on the left-hand side of your screen. So in a 360-day max period, you can see there's some pretty nice money involved there, $162,000 for Plan C. It also pays for home health care aids, maximum of 60 days for a period. But if you get Plan A, you can see it's $40, $80, $120. And if you multiply that by 60 days, I even did the math for you there, $7,200. No prior hospital stay required like some of the previous plans had for that home health care aid benefit. And then there's some optional riders included there too that I'm not going to go into today, but a nice solid plan. And again, every plan looks really good when you're trying to help somebody. If they can't get it health-wise, if they can't get anything that has more benefits, tell you what, a lot of people will surprise you how much they'll embrace a plan that gives them some type of protection, especially with the home care. Okay. So it's flexible and affordable, and then just to throw in there, that has this RX drug benefit involved too, so you can get rebates on medications right away. And most people who can't get long-term care or some of those other products have that shoebox with several meds in there, so they're going to be able to lower their net premium down even lower with this very affordable plan. And we don't want to forget about True Freedom. Tell you what, we've really embraced True Freedom. It's been around a long time. We didn't embrace it earlier on because it wasn't an insurance product and we were a little nervous. But I'll tell you what, the more we started realizing that this is really a necessity, and that company has done such a good job where they don't have a lot of complaints. They go out and they do what they're promising to do, and people are really happy with the services. So we really like this True Freedom plan. Not just for the fact there's no medical underwriting, so everybody can get it in all 50 states. That's obviously a huge, huge plus. But it also is a really nice prepaid type home care plan out there, which does everything you can imagine: meal planning, assistance with dressing, assistance with bathing, all those different things, all the way down to laundry, ironing, etc. And with the plan, you can get some pretty nice, powerful, robust plans for not a lot of money. Okay, $250,000 there you can see for the platinum plan, $150,000 potentially with the gold plan, $75,000 with silver, or the bronze plan, very, very, very affordable, and a solid $37,500 lifetime value with that bronze plan. So lots of good things going on there. When you talk to our regional directors, our marketers about that, you'll see we have some affinity affinity discounts that are available, et cetera, that might be a good opportunity for you if you have some big affinity or workplace groups as well. No underwriting is the key there. Remember, it's available in all 50 states. So in a nutshell, folks, you know what? At the end of the day, you can go out there and you can just go and say, I'm going to beat my head against the wall and I'm going to pretend I'm working and I'm going to just sit and study my long-term care plan and long for the good old days when I used to have more clients and more leads and I didn't have to spend as much money to get a lead. Or you can go out and kind of roll up your sleeves a little bit, change that paradigm, and go out and spread the net wider. And guess what? When you help more people, you make more money. And that's the beautiful thing about this type of opportunity. So hopefully you're going to see with this pivot presentation, it's going to make your job much, much easier when you're out in the field. So before I go into that pivot introduction today, I do want to talk about one more thing that a lot of agents don't take advantage of, but the ones who do it often and they do it well. And basically what I'm trying to show you here is we look at a 61-year-old female, and if they were going to buy a nice, robust, traditional long-term care plan nowadays, we know with gender ratings, it's not cheap. $4,500 a month for a $150,000 plan with 3% compounds, $4,154 for an annual premium. Now, if that person's not healthy enough, or even if they are, but let's pretend they're not quite healthy enough to get traditional long-term care, but they showed an interest, look at what you could do over on the right-hand side. In that red circle, you could get the GTL Critical Cash, that critical illness plan that I talked about that I like so much that we helped design. And you could have an 18-month benefit period, $1,000 for the base benefit, and a $5,000 facility benefit for that catastrophic if they need to go to a nursing home. And the pool of money there could be $324,000 pool of money. And the premium's only $1,143 annually. Then on top of that, this is the part that a lot of agents don't do, but they should, is that if they threw a GTL home care only plan on there with a plus package, meaning of all the riders on there that are, not all the riders, but a dental and vision rider that's so attractive, et cetera, and you could throw that on there and have a $1,254 total package on that home care plan. That's a plan you can see down at the bottom. It talks about it. It's a big solid plan. Total premium for both those together is $23.97. And you know what? That's a powerful little product that pays first day benefits on the right-hand side for $23.97 compared to the $41.54 that gal would have spent if they could have qualified for long-term care. So obviously long-term care has a lot of great things about it. That's where we butter our bread. But if you can't get long-term care, what a great alternative to offer that combo type package. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox there. So if you join me tomorrow, it's the 23rd, tomorrow, Thursday at 2 p.m. Central, and you probably got an invitation to it already if you're on this call. I really recommend you take the time to jump on that call because I'll tell you what, I really have fun with it, going through and showing you this actual pivot presentation that I'll take credit for this one. I kind of designed this myself using a lot of the knowledge of some great people in my organization like Mike Johnson, one of our career guys, and some top agents across the country, to really try to design a plan that's going to do great thing to help people when you're in the trenches talking to seniors, whether it's live or whether you're over the internet especially, okay? So let's take a closer look, and you'll see this tomorrow. I'm going to go through, show you some pre-screen tools we have. I'm going to go through the actual presentation, and part of that's going to talk about that paradigm shift where we kind of start out saying, hey, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you some questions about your health because we don't buy these policies with our checkbook as much as our health anymore. So I'm going to start out there, and I tell people right away, try to get them to relax a little bit, saying, don't worry, you know what? If you're not currently in assisted living or not currently getting help with activities of daily living, we've got a product that can help you. Okay, so I'm trying to get them to relax and realize that there are some ways we can protect them no matter what their health might be. Then you're going to see those little icons at the bottom of the screen. Tomorrow I'm going to show you what all those icons do and how you can jump around all within one presentation. And then this is the most intimidating looking slide tomorrow, so don't not attend just because of this slide here today. But I will tell you, this is one of the great slides in this presentation because it goes through some of those major conditions. And you can see there, those are those big knockouts for traditional long-term care. And I'm going to show you how not only right at your fingertips within that same presentation to have access to all the underwriting you'd ever want and more than you'll probably ever need, but have the access to not only the underwriting, but the brochures, state availability, that suitability sheet, and a full resources page. I love showing off this resource page. Lots of good things right within that tomorrow that I'll show you how to go right within and have one tool at your fingertips. And probably the most important part of that whole pivot presentation is the slide you see right here. That's that resources tab that I'm going to show you how you can jump to it from anywhere within the presentation and jump right back to where you were, so you never have to worry about getting lost. And more importantly, especially if you're selling over the phone, we know how important it is to have all the tools that you might need and all the answers to the questions that you might need right at your fingertips, right on that phone call. So hopefully you're going to see that this is going to be an invaluable tool and a great resource for you when you're out in the field trying to help more people and make more money for yourselves and your families. So I hope that you'll be impressed with that, and I hope you'll take the time to check it out, because it is one of our great value addeds that we have here at GoldenCare to try to make your life just a little bit easier and try to help those Americans who need so much help. It's our responsibility as agents, if you ask me. We have to roll up the sleeves and go out and help as many people as we can, because if we don't, most people never hear the conversation. Remember those stats. 61% of the people in a recent poll, December of 2020, Harris poll, because of COVID, said, you know what, I'd rather die than have to go into a nursing home. Think about that, 61%. That's scary numbers. And then you look at the fact that 70% of the people out there are going to need some type of care in their lifetime, and 90% of the folks in America have never had a conversation about protecting themselves, never had a serious conversation. So that's where you guys come in, and that's where hopefully we can help you make that job a little bit easier and be more successful at that. So I want to thank you for showing up today. I want to make sure if you're not with GoldenCare, you check out our website and check out the tools that we have over and above the pivot presentation. But most important, I want you to make sure you scribble in a note to yourself to attend tomorrow at 2 p.m., the pivot presentation part 2, where I go through the actual presentation. Okay. So again, this is Tom Randall from GoldenCare. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to spend with me today. And I will let you go today, and hopefully we'll see a lot of you back on tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. You have a great day.
Check out our website, goldencareagent.com, or give us a call at 800-842-7799.